Hey everyone, I'm Deb Moras, and I'm kind of here on behalf of answering the call. Just want to tell you a little bit about my experiences on the two mission trips that I had the privilege to go on. My first trip was to Gambia and Meridi in the year 2000. The war was going on then. It was sort of a rescue medical mission. I really had no idea what I was going to do there. I was just compelled to go by a video that Dave showed at church one Sunday and just felt like I want to do that. I want to go there. I want to be part of that. And so I went. And it was an experience that I'll never forget. Um, I witnessed some things that are still, it's like yesterday, visiting a leprosy clinic, and the impact it made on me was one that was life-changing. Always in my heart, I thought, I want to go back. Someday I want to go back. So fast forward 20 years, and Dave came to me and said that they were starting a project in Aquarium Rock called the Mary Maid Sewing Project. Well, for those of you who know me, I had a sewing business for about 15 years, and I know how to sew. And I thought, oh my gosh, this time I could go and maybe bring a skill that I knew, and maybe help those people to someday be able to take that skill and become self-sustaining. What I found was unbelievable. I mean, I went there thinking we'll teach them to sew straight lines, and we'll teach them to sew little pieces of fabric and how to put them together. And in the course of maybe 7 days, they were able to make a dress. They made a bag. They learned how to stitch and mend their own clothing. They learned how to sew on buttons. They learned how to put in elastic. It was amazing. And just the eagerness that they had through the whole project. They never got tired of coming to class. In fact, we would tell them to meet us there at 10 o'clock, and they would be lined up outside starting about 8:30. It was so encouraging to me, just to see how with so little knowledge ever I mean, I don't think some of them had ever seen a sewing machine, and how they could sit down and just grasp it and take off with it. And then, that was probably one of the highlights of my trip. The second one was some Muslim leaders from another village came over to visit us one day. There were 3 of them, and they had asked that we go and visit them at their village. Now, I'm not so naive to think nothing's going to happen to us, because after all, we're answering the call and we're doing this for God, and so what could happen? But I will say there was no fear of going. So we got into the village, and the Muslims, you can tell because they wear the headdress and the women wear the dresses, and they asked us to come in. They asked us to have lunch, but first what they wanted was for them to be able to get up and kind of share their gospel with us, what they believed. And so we listened. We had interpreters that were telling us what they were saying. Then they asked David to get up and share. So David got up and shared the gospel of Jesus. And not everyone was tuned into him. I was watching the crowd, and but there were some that were giving him eye contact, that were really listening to what he had to say. And that doesn't just happen unless you've built a relationship with these people. And that's what answering the call has done. They keep going back and going back and going back. and they build this relationship. You can't do this if there's no relationship. They would have probably not accepted us the way they did had David never been involved with these people. That was so encouraging to me, and it was like, wow, what we see over here is just the bad stuff. But I saw these people embrace us. They hugged us. They invited us back again. I would definitely love to go back there and see them all. I saw recently on a podcast that I listened to that the man said 80% of Muslims that have become Christians, it was because of the love of a Christian person. It wasn't from reading the Bible and comparing it to their Quran. It was because some Christian loved them and told them about Jesus. And that's what answering the call does.